Snipers here, back for another update. Let's take a look at XRP over here, and we're going to take a look at XRP through the lens of many different types of trading theories. One of them in particular will be Wyckoff accumulation, and in this case I'm going to be presenting to you the Wyckoff accumulation schematic 2, and we see a lot of coins doing this. Okay. In this case, for XRP, we haven't fully broken out yet into phase E, but when it does, it will be explosive considering we've been within this accumulation range for over 630 days. So whenever you see a 5-wave move to the upside, you're going to see an ABC correction, which is expected, right? So you have your regular A, B, and C correction. That would be a regular ABC correction, but in this case, we have an A wave, a B wave rejecting at the 78.6% fib, and then a 5-wave move down for your C wave, failing to terminate beyond the start of your A wave. And then we have accumulation at the lows for 630 days, and then we have continuation targeting liquidity above this high. Okay, so this is exactly what XRP is doing. When we go on the long-term chart here on XRP, we see that exact same thing. So we see A, B, C, 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, and a 5-wave move to the downside with a truncation in the 5th wave. For 200 days, so while we were in this accumulation range here, for 200 days, we've been doing our wave 2. So over 200 days, we've been doing our wave 2 within a larger 600-day Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Okay, so let's go back to the chart that I had there, and let's map this out. And I put the diagram here so you can follow along. So this is your preliminary supply. Now, usually with the preliminary supply, it means it's one last upswing before you have your capitulation leading into your selling climax. Now, when you have your selling climax, all the retail are selling over here. Okay, it's absolute fear, absolute panic, and it doesn't take much to move the price back up because there's so much liquidity from people selling their bags. Once you have your selling climax, you're going to have an automatic rally, right? After your automatic rally, you have a secondary test. This is when so the smart money enters here at the selling climax, or the composite operator. You have your automatic rally, and then they enter on the secondary test. Okay, smart money enters on the secondary test, and then you have what's called a failed breakout. So over here, you can see that after your selling climax, you have an automatic rally, move back down for your second test, and then a failed breakout. Okay, so this is your failed breakout over here. And then what we do is we go below your secondary test. Okay, you see how we went below it with just a wick. Okay, you had a bunch of smart money buy stops right over here buying this fear. As soon as you went below this psychological support here, right, that was considered your short squeeze. When you went below this psychological support. So what would this be called? This would be called your secondary test in phase B. Okay, so this is our ST in phase B. And then what do we have over here? So if we go on the historical chart, when we had, let me see here, when we had a 4th wave going into the territory of our wave 1, we thought that this would be an ascending broadening wedge. So the 5th wave target, usually for ascending broadening wedges, is the 1.236, and you can see we perfectly hit that there. Okay, so let's go back to this chart. We perfectly hit the 1.236. Okay, this is your Okay, see how we perfectly hit that? And remember, this is a leading diagonal similar to that of 2020. So when your fifth wave comes in, you're going to have a capitulation move down below your psychological support here. And so what happens after your secondary test in phase B, you move up to mid-range and then you get knocked back down. Okay, you see how we move back up to mid-range over here? So what would I call this? I would call this our fail break number 2. Okay, you see how we move up to You see how after your secondary test in phase B, you move up to the top to mid-range, and then you get knocked back down. You have your last point of support when the price chops around here, and then you have your sign of strength above the top of the range. So what do we see? Fail break number 2, get knocked down to mid-range for your last point of support, and you usually have 2 of these before your sign of strength. And I find it crazy because Ripple won the lawsuit right before we had our sign of strength. So it puts things into perspective in a sense where news doesn't really matter. It's the charts show what's going to happen first. News just provides a narrative to the price swings. Okay, so that's your last point of support. This is your sign of strength. So what does the composite operator do? The composite operator moves the price back down to the 78.6% fib. Okay, you see how we perfectly hit that? Perfectly bottomed out there. Then we have a WXY correction for our backup phase. So this over here would be considered your backup phase. After your backup phase, you can see that we chop around here on the top of the range here. Now, within this chop, which lasted over 200 days, okay, going on, 240 days, once this chop is finished, which I think it is on XRP, we go into phase E. Now phase E is what I like to call point of no return, because once you break out of this range, the price will go absolutely parabolic. Now, the reason I think that XRP is going into phase E and has finished the correction is because number one, we hit the 78.6% fib, and we are also above key moving averages. So let's take a look at the 50-day SMA, and you can see we perfectly hit it over here. Okay, we're also above the 21-day and the 100-day as well. Okay, we're about to have a golden cross over here with the 50 and the 100. Now, let's take a look at the small time frame wave count that I have over here. Okay, now this is the wave count going all the way back to January. Okay, you had your wave 1 here with an extension in the 5th wave, and then for your wave 2, you had over 201 days of accumulation. Now we're above all of the moving averages, and we're starting our impulsive structure to the upside. Okay, this does not look corrective. We're also in a descending broadening wedge. Okay, so this is a descending broadening wedge here, and we broke out of it. And you can also see that, so let's go back to this chart that I have here. You can also see that this is acting as our trendline liquidity, and we're currently above it. Okay, so look how many times we rejected off this trend line here. Okay, you rejected off of it once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can even put it down a bit and say that's your 6, 7, and your 8. Okay, so you could see we rejected off of it more than 7, 8 times here. And now we're above it while also holding the key moving averages on the daily time frame. Now, when we go on the 4-hour time frame, what do we see over here? We see that we have hit the 70.2% fib right over here after rejecting off of the 702. Okay, so you can see how much XRP loves that 702 now. What I see over here on the small time frame is our start of our next impulsive structure. So this is our wave 1, our wave 2, 3, 4, and then our 5th wave, hitting the 1.382. Okay, and when we zoom in on the hourly time frame, we could say that this is your ABC structure over here, A, B, C, with an extension of our C wave hitting the 300% fib. Okay, actually the 2.786. Okay, so we're very overextended over here. So I would call this our selling climax. This over here would be called our selling climax. And this over here, I would call it our automatic rally. So remember, just like on the high time frame, right? Just like on the high time frame, we did Wyckoff accumulation. On the small time frame, we're doing Wyckoff accumulation as well. Okay, so this is high time frame Wyckoff accumulation. Then now when we zoom in on the 30-minute, we see that exact same thing, right? It happens on every time frame. This over here would be your selling climax, your automatic rally, second test, and now we're having our failed break right at our 702. Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me that the market maker, or whales, you could say, bring the price back down below your equilibrium into discount territory with your 618 and 702 being your draw on liquidity. Okay, so don't be surprised if XRP comes down like this, or just chops its way down here, back into discount zone below the 50, takes out your draw on liquidity, which is the 618, 702, maybe the 786, and then rallies from there. Okay, so right now, this is exactly what XRP does all the time when it bottoms out. It has your capitulation move down, you have your automatic rally, your secondary test, and then you have a failed breakout. When you had this move up here, this is when all the retail got excited. Now we're at the 702 over here, sweeping this high, but we haven't swept some inefficiency below this low. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come down here, before bulls move the price back up. But let's not focus so much on the small time frame here, and let's retake a look at what we have here on the high time frame. Let's go on the daily time frame over here. Okay, so as you can see, the correction is done. We're just doing some intraday chop. And remember, if we came down below the 50%, it would just look like a little blip on the radar. Okay, so you may see something like this on the high time frame. Okay, so let's take a look at the high time frame wave count over here. I know I explain it in every video, but I just want to explain it every time I come on, just so you guys can get a refresher of where exactly we are in the cycle, right? So you're not worried on this taking any more of your time. XRP. You have a 5-way move up for your wave 1, a WXY for your wave 2, an explosive wave 3 hitting your golden pocket. Then we have a 3-way move down, a 3-way move up, and a 5-way move to the downside. Your C wave is finished at the 70.2% fib using our trend-based fib. And then we start our next impulsive structure to the upside. This over here would be your wave 1. For your wave 2, you come down to the 78.6% fib, WXY correction, and now we're starting our wave 3, which will likely take out your buy side liquidity resting above this high at $1.94. Okay, so over here, and this over here would be your buy side liquidity. So I think that there's a lot of trapped holders over here. Okay, and when you break above this level, you're going to when you break above this level, your draw on liquidity would be the 1.618 when we use our trend-based fib from the bottom of the trend to the top of the trend and down to the counter trend. It would be around $2.30 to $2.60. Once you take that out, you're going to have a creaking like action to the downside, likely around your 23.6% fib or even your 38.2% fib. This is when people are going to think it's all over in this creaking action over here. When we have this creak down to key support, we're going to have I think we're going to have an explosive 5th wave to finish up our run. Now, once this 3rd and 4th wave comes in, we'll get much more accurate 5th wave targets, and I will be posting that in my Discord, but not on my YouTube. So make sure you join the Discord, click the link in the description below, and you get access to all of these charts over here. Okay, so this is XRP. Absolutely nothing to worry about. It looks like the correction is done. We've been within this accumulation schematic for over 600 days now, and we've also been within this wedge for over 2,000 days. So think of how much accumulation we have here, how much pent-up energy this is going to have when it blows up, right? 2,200 days. 2,200 days of accumulation within this wedge, while also having 600 plus days of accumulation at the bottom. Okay, so the time frame makes a difference, and you can see a story on every time frame. This is 634 days, and then this wave 2 was over 200 days. Okay, so we can map out every little wave here, and let's go back to the 3-hour time frame here, or sorry, the 30-minute time frame, Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me we come down below equilibrium. So this is our EQ right over here. This is your premium. Anything above the 50 is our premium. And then we have our discount zone over here. Now, if I was a whale, if I was a market maker, and I wanted XRP in my portfolio, would I be buying now, or would I buy in discount zone? Okay, ask yourself that. Always look at the charts like you're a market maker. Okay, now when we go below this 50%, or if we go below this 50%, there's going to be a lot of retail panicking. Retail is going to think that we're going to go below this low over here at 0.5383. I don't think we do that. I mean, we may, but it's more likely that we just come down below equilibrium to just enough to tip the market before whales bring it back up. Okay. Now, when we look at the high time frame, we see that we have entered into phase E already. Okay, we've entered into phase E on January 31st. Okay, now it's crazy because if we go to this chart over here, where were we? Where were we before we broke out over here? Okay, this is February, and then this is March. You see, this is January, February, March, and then we continue the run up here, you see? So it's like it's coming back to the same time. I just find that really cool. So this is my Discord here. I'm going to show you some charts here on XRP. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do click the link in the description below. I want to show you some charts here. Let me just find the one I'm looking for. Okay, so it's this chart right over here. So you see in 2017, we had our peak, right? Now remember, in 2017, the left side of this chart, the wicks are going to be more crazy because there was less liquidity. So there's going to be more crazy price swings. But what I want you to pay attention to right now is just the structure that I'm trying to show you. So what you have over here is your peak, okay? Then you have your capitulation and then a retrace. Right now, from 93 cent, we had our peak, we had our capitulation, and then our retrace. After your retrace, we come down again for your selling climax. Over here, we come down again for your selling climax. And then you have a move back up. Okay, we have a move back up. And then we create a series of lower highs. Okay, this is a series of lower highs. But at the same time, our higher lows are holding, right? While also maintaining above the 21, 10, and 100-day SMA. The key moving averages right over here. So you can see that this is the exact same thing, and we also had 200 days of accumulation on both charts. So 2017, 200 days of accumulation, 2024, 200 plus days of accumulation. So now we're rallying. So you see how after your third lower high, we come down here and then rally back up towards it. Okay, you can see after your third lower high, you come down and then rally back up towards it. So now we're bound to break above this. As soon as you have a closure right? As soon as you have a closure above 63 cent, then that would be confirmation of go time. Okay, let's go back to this chart over here. But yeah, this is XRP. Let's take a look at another chart here before the video comes to an end. Let me see here. And what I notice here is that we've rejected off this trend line so many times. We're now above the trend line. We had a bullish engulfing. Now we have a long-legged doji on the weekly time frame. Whenever you have, so I'm going to show you here. So this is your downtrend here. Okay? And then this is your trend line. We break above it. Form a few dojis and indecision, and then we have a bullish engulfing. After your bullish engulfing, you have a long-legged doji, right? Which we see over here. That is just a pause before we have a continuation to the upside. So whenever you have a bullish engulfing or a bullish advance, a doji, and then a doji right after it, you're likely going to see continuation right after. Okay, that is a trend shift. So this is XRP here, nothing to worry about. Okay, I think it's going to take out this internal range liquidity, come down and creak over here a little bit, and then head towards your external range sitting at 93 cent. Okay, so absolutely nothing to worry about. We're still looking good here. Now remember, we may not go into discount zone, but if it does, you know that at least this will be bought up quick. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the XRP video. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.